Om Shanti. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Monday sharing sessions. As always, every Monday, we invite special guest speakers who have treaded the path of spirituality, followed through the path of Raj Yoga meditation, especially to make some transformation in their personal life, and how their transformation was supported by the practice that they did. So one of the things that always comes to my mind is when I hear about the concept of empathizing with others. So how can I relate to somebody else, or how can I really understand what they are going through unless I have a similar experience for myself, right? I can have a concept of what they have gone through, right? I may make a mental picture of what they have gone through based on what they are sharing or what I have heard, but I will never really know what they have really gone through so that I can empathize with that other person or do something about it. So in fact, we can never know what is going on the other side, but we can come closer to that person, right? And especially we as a Brahmins who have gone through this journey of space and time for thousands of years together, we have experienced extremes of joy and extremes of sorrow too. So who else can understand and relate to better than other Brahmin who have threaded the same path? On that note, I want to invite Sister Christina. Sister Christina has been following Baba's path for over more than a decade, and she had some personal challenges that she had as she was going through some childhood memories, deep, deep hurt that she has gone through. A little careful about using the word trauma that she is going to share with us. And especially when we are talking about trauma, it is not something that you can sort it out just by intellectualizing something. Trauma is something that goes much more deeper than something superficial. I mean, superficial is not just physical, but something that can heal by engaging in some other process. Trauma is something deep-rooted, which has damaged some deeper part of our consciousness. In order to heal our heart, in order to heal the soul, so we have to work at a deeper aspects. Today, we have with us Sister Christina. She's going to share her personal journey, and she's also going to share what helped her on this path. And she's going to share with some of the beautiful, she's by profession, she's a teacher, and she's an artist. And today we get to see some of the means she uses art to how to heal ourselves, right? And then we'll get to share the slides as we go further. Welcome, Sister Christina.
Om Shanti. Good evening to you. For me, it's morning. Yeah, I welcome all of you. And today I'm going to share something about how to heal experiences you've had in your life. It might be in your childhood. It might be later on. As I mentioned that it's not that we use the word trauma so easily because it's a special term in psychology, but you can say it's bad experiences or it's traumatic experiences. Trauma is just used for very severe cases, or even if you go through trauma, it's not that you you go through bad experiences, but you don't have the trauma afterwards. It's very individual. Some individuals, they get very impacted, some they don't. And it's also depending on when in your life you have this experience. I had experiences in my very early childhood, at birth, right after birth, and at the years of 5, and I don't remember exactly 6, 7, or 8 years, 11, and so on. But yeah, today I'm going to tell you what I did to go through the trauma, to heal the trauma. I'm still in the process, I have to tell you. It's not that you do it once and then everything is healed. It takes some time. And I will tell you what I did on the spiritual level, and also what I had to do on a psychological level. Sometimes, as a Brahmin, you can just work on the spiritual level. But sometimes it's also necessary to work on the spiritual level. I first thought that now that I found Baba and I had so many good experiences, as we all had in my Brahmin childhood, I don't need to go through psychological treatment. But I came to a point where I could see that I cannot change. I cannot change. I want to change, but somehow there's a blockage. There's an obstacle, and I don't know how to manage it. I was a bit hesitating to take psychological treatment because I said, Baba, you are my psychologist and I can do it with you alone. But then I almost forgot that once at Amrit Vela, already some years ago, many years ago, it was right after my Brahmin childhood, Baba showed me something and I thought, oh, what is this? It was about psychologist or psychotherapist. And somehow I forgot in between. Then I met Sister Denise, and yeah, she said it's completely okay. If you need psychological help, then take it. Sometimes the convergence of spirituality and psychology is needed. So I thought, okay, this is now for me like sign. I may do it. I may take help from the psychological side as well. But I was very determined to, as much as possible, do it with Baba. And even if I went to someone who is a psychologist or psychotherapist for profession, I always thought, okay, now Baba has no arms, Baba has no mouth, he has to do it to someone. So I said, Baba, I take it from you through somebody else. So I went through the whole process with Baba. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my Brahmin life. I already told you that I came to that point where I could see that I cannot change, although I wanted. And before that, I was flying with Baba and I had all these good experiences. And first I thought, okay, I was making maybe fast, intense effort and that's it. But everyone receives very good experiences, and we experience stages we already are not in. We get this gift from Baba so that we can experience how does it feel like, how does it look like when we are on that level. I also got challenges in my Brahmin life because I was very enthusiastic, and when I came to Baba, I changed many things. I changed my place of work. I went to another school. I changed my place where to live. I moved into a Shakti Bhavan together with another sister in the same building as the center, and we both were cooperating with the center, and I changed many things, as you always also did. And in the interaction with other Brahmins, I could see that there are things which need to change, but it was first like I was with Baba always the first years, so at that time I couldn't see it, and the others couldn't see it as well, couldn't see it either. But after these 3-4 years of flying, it was obvious that there's something, because there were clashes of sanskars, especially when you live very close with each other. And yeah, it was a tough time, but I don't want to miss it, because this indicated to me where the points are I have to work on. So yeah, these are very good experiences, although you might think, oh, the situations themselves are not so good, but everything's beneficial, as we know, and we can transform the most when coming into Brahmin company, because it's not that these Brahmins have karmic accounts with you. Sometimes we think, oh, I had many karmic accounts with that soul. Might be, but very often it's that you encounter a person with similar sanskars to somebody you had experiences in your Lokik life with, especially in childhood. So I encountered people who had very similar sanskars. It was amazing. One had the sanskars of my Lokik father, and one the sanskars of my Lokik brother, and one sanskars of my Lokik mother. This was my main trauma. If you don't look at other traumas, like the trauma at birth, where I don't remember so much from. Yeah, and so I could see and feel again what the trauma was like, and it took me quite some years, to be able to be that detached that I could work on it. I couldn't do it at the same time. I think also because I was very unexperienced, and yeah, we also had, I think, done something which didn't allow us to change. So it was later on. Okay, and actually I wanted to share about sustenance from Baba I got, and sustenance from the daddies and so on I got later on, but I would mention a little bit of it now, because I think if I had not got the sustenance I got, I would have stopped the process. I would have, I don't know, stopped studying or left fast, but I was very determined to make it, and so I was continuing. And the sustenance I got from Baba was on an Avyak level, as you all know, through Bagdada, but also through, I think, Dadi Prakashmani. Maybe I met her in the previous life, I don't know, but I had special experiences at Amrit Vela in the beginning. And every time I encountered a situation where I didn't know what to do, I asked Baba, and I had a little booklet of Dadi Prakashmani's Words of Nectar, and I just opened the page, and there the answer for my situation was, and so I knew what to do. And I got sustenance from Sudesh Didi, who's the responsible instrument in Germany, as you know. I went very often to the main center. I did Karma Yoga or Yagya Seva there, and and I took place in whatever happened at the center at that time. So I took part in the meditations and the Murli there, and it was different to what I experienced in the center. So I felt like a mini Madhavan. And this was very, very important for me. Otherwise, I think I would not have made it. And of course, the sustenance I got in Madhavan, very special Avyak sustenance always. And I met Dadi Janki every time. It always happened that sister said, okay, let's go and meet Dadi Janki. I never had the thought, but so I went. And it was more like taking power from Baba and having this experience that Baba is seeing my true self, even if I'm traumatized or whatever. At the moment, Baba can see through all these layers, and he can see what is behind it, and he can see that diamond shining, even though I cannot see it and others cannot see it at the moment, but it's there. I just have to take off all the layers. And one time I had a very special experience with Dadi Gulzar. I was in Madhavan, and I was very sick in the body. I was staying in Pandav Bhavan. I wrote a letter or email to Shashiben because I wanted to go to Madhavan, but I thought if I'm in Gyan Sarovar with 9 other sisters in a room, it's not possible at the moment. So I was in Pandav Bhavan and went for Murli in Gyan Sarovar. And after Murli, they announced, if you want to meet Dadi Gulzar, so come to the bus station and the bus will leave right after Murli. So I thought, okay, I want to meet. So I just jumped into the bus and we drove to Shantivan down the hill, and it was a small group only, and I don't know, it was as if Baba was reading my thoughts, as he often does or always does in Madhavan, and fulfilled my wish. I needed some encouragement to continue, and what Dadi was doing was just encouraging us on this path and telling us how worthy we are, how valuable, and that Baba found us in every corner of the world, and this was just what I needed at that time. And I also got sustenance on a very physical level because the body was sick and it was connected to psychological issues, but I didn't know at that time. And I landed up in the pharmacy in front of Bhavan because I had something else which needed treatment. But then the doctor looked at me and said, okay, there's something else. Tell Baba. And actually I didn't want to, but said, okay, tell Baba. So I told Baba, or this doctor, everything. And he said, okay, Baba will give treatment to you. He also asked how long I would stay. And I told him, and he said, okay, come every day. So I got some homeopathic medicine, and he also prescribed me a special meditation, which was on the chakras. So I had to work with the different chakras in the body. I haven't done that in my Brahman life. I did it before Baba. I did a Reiki master and all these things, but when I came to Baba, I left all of that. And yeah, I had to do meditation for these chakras. So it was about balancing the energy in the body. And when I came to Madhuban at that time, I could hardly move, I could hardly walk, I could hardly eat, and I was in a very miserable state. But already after a few days, I could walk properly and I could eat properly and breathe. Yeah, I was almost not able to breathe also. So, and when I left Madhuban, I had the feeling, okay, on the physical level, I'm healed, but the other things needed still healing. And yeah, now I'm going to tell you what, how I started the process. I think, as I told you, I needed to meet Sister Denise, and I met her.
So Christina Ben, let me know whenever you want me to share the screen.
Yeah, I'll let you know. Now I just share how I, and then I will go into detail, and then we can share the sketches. Yeah. I met Sister Denise in 2016. I was again doing some Yakya Seva. It was in the German Retreat Center, which emerged in 2016 and which was bought by the Yakya in 2016. And yeah, I think I did Yakya Seva because I felt very close when doing it to Baba. And yeah, maybe because I didn't have to face my psychological issues. When I was doing it, it was as if I don't have anything, but I had. And she was addressing me, and I think she wanted me to talk about this to her, but I didn't. And I had also some experiences with seniors, which were not so very good. So I think I was maybe a bit afraid, or I hesitated in any case. And 1 year later at Amrit Vela, Baba showed me like a picture I was in Shanti Bhavan in the Diamond Hall, and Sister Denise, she was also there. And Sister Denise entered an elevator in the Diamond Hall. It's actually not there, but in the dream it was. And she went into that elevator, which was made out of glass. And I followed her into the elevator, and the elevator went up. So I said, Baba, okay, you showed me something. What's the meaning of it? Because I didn't understand. And later on, I understood I have to talk to Sister Denise, and it will be good, because the elevator was going up and the elevator was transparent. So it was a transparent process with Baba. And yeah, I did this. I actually met her in 2017 in South Africa. She stayed there at the place of Sister Megala. You might know her from the series she did with her. And I also met some connections I had made before Baba, because I had been teaching in South Africa before Baba. And but I still was not opening up completely. It was not before 2018-19 I approached her again. And then it was very clear to me, I have to take psychological help. I was in Madhaban 2018, December and January 2019. And after having been on Baba's stage, I was experiencing something in the mind, and I didn't know what it was, but it was actually depression. And it was still in Gyan Sarovar. I was alone in the room, and when I came back, I knew I have to do something. She was listening to everything, and she also let me write down my experiences from childhood. This was the first step, which was very good. I could do it in a detached way, but it was obvious that these very early experiences have an impact on the soul. And often Brahmins, they think that if you take sorrow, as you do in those situations before Baba, that you commit a sin. Because Baba says, if you do something which is wrong action, it's a sin. And also if you don't do something which is something you have to do, it's a sin, omission. And if you give sorrow and if you take sorrow. So I said to her, okay, so I committed a lot of sin. But she said, no, you didn't, because at that time you didn't have Baba's knowledge. It was in your Lokik life, and you were a child, and as a child you take everything in without a filter, and so you also take in the sorrow, and it's not a sin, but it's impacting the soul, and you have to become free of it. So I understood, and this is the first step, to understand, to accept that there is something you have to work on. And the next step was to see how is it impacting your actual life. And with help of her, I could see that I had many thought patterns which were impacted by the trauma. I was still on the level of a 5 or 6 year old child in many ways in my thinking, and I was not even aware of it. I had this magical thinking as children have. So you think, I'm responsible for everything, and this is what I was told as a 6-year-old child, you're responsible, but I was not responsible. My parents were responsible, but I took it on me. So I realized which thought patterns had to be changed, but this was not easy. Sister Denise was also making a lot of effort on me, and I could see it's very, very deep, very deep. And yeah, then actually when I moved to another place, before I had still been helping, cooperating with the center, so I was still rather okay. But when I moved to that other place and I was away from the center and not doing any Yakya Seva or something like that, after 8 weeks working at the school, I got a iliosacral joint blockage. It's in the hip, and I couldn't move. I was actually pushing a cupboard in the classroom, which was full, and this is how I got the blockage. And I had to lie a rather long time, and then step by step learn again how to walk with a physiotherapist. And at that time, many experiences from my childhood just came up in my dreams and also during the day. So, yeah, and a bit later, I already had depression. I was like going up and down in my mind all the time, and very extremes, very, very extreme. After Daddy Junkie left the body, actually, until then it was still rather okay. I could manage, but after that time, I landed up in a clinic, and they gave me antidepressants. So, but this was necessary for me in the first place to be able to do some therapy and then later on to work with Baba. Before I was not able to do it. Actually, I was in the clinic sometimes. It was necessary, and the medication was also necessary. I first thought I never want to take medication, but sometimes it's needed for a certain time. So you are able to do all the other things needed, like the therapy if you need it, and the spiritual work with Baba. So, okay, I don't go into detail, but I got this medication, and in the clinic I also got I had appointments with a psychologist, and in the beginning it was very hard to change something, because everything I experienced in my Brahmin time came up. So I was told I'm the worst Brahmin on earth. So I was thinking in that way again, and what my parents told me, many negative things. And a bit later on in my Brahmin life, there was also an encounter where I was told bad things. So I was full of all these negative thoughts. And I was thinking very low of myself. And it also, I had difficulties to reach Baba because I was putting myself so much down and putting all the others on a very high pedestal. And at the moment I can't imagine how I did it, but somehow. Now I'm going to share with you what I think was needed in the whole process, and Harsha, we can share the screen for that.
See the screen?
There's something in the chat. I just check what is in the chat. Yes, I see the screen.
Yeah. So we'll come to the questions after you share. Yeah, if that's okay.
Okay. I first want to talk about what trauma or traumatic experiences are, because I think it's good to know. Especially when you have experiences very early in your life. You don't have experiences where you can which are similar to these experiences. So you can compare it to a cupboard with clothes, and these traumatic experiences you can compare to clothes which you cannot put into a special place in that cupboard, so you just throw them into the cupboard. But you don't look at them properly, you don't clean them, you don't fold them, you just throw them. And later on, this is what is actually disturbing the mind and causing depression. And later on in the healing process, you have to take each of those experiences. Here in the picture, it's the clothes, and look at each of these properly and work with them. You have to clean them, you have to fold them, you have to get to know the kind of clothes it is, what it is like, how it is like. And so you have to clean up your cupboard. You have to put it into the right order. And this is actually what you do with therapy and what you do with Baba. I think this is enough to say about this picture. What I also did, because I was in such a desperate state of mind at the beginning, I had a support group. I had 3 other Brahmins, which were not looking at me as if I'm the worst Brahmin on earth, but who could also see qualities in me and who were caring and empathic and like spiritual friends. And they don't necessarily have to be around you. There was no one around me. I was alone. I was staying on my own, but someone you can call or you can email to, or you can have a WhatsApp chit chat or whatever. I first didn't want to do this, but then I found out it's very helpful in the beginning, especially. And as I told you, sometimes it's needed to have psychological help. And what I did in that place was I didn't want to, take opinions of other people. Like Baba says, don't take Parmat. But I could feel I need the psychological help also to loosen these experiences. And so I thought, okay, I will talk to a psychologist. I had to talk to a psychologist at the clinic and also later on. And I will do what they are telling me because they know what is needed in these situations. But I will do it with Baba. I will say, Baba, I take it from you through them. So this is what I was doing, and this is what the picture is expressing. So I said, Baba, okay, I will do what they are telling me. I will do it. But my eternal psychologist was Baba. At the beginning, I couldn't work with Baba, the eternal psychologist, at Amrit Vela or in meditations. But as the trauma was loosened, I could more and more do it. And yeah, Baba was not only giving me psychological tips, he was mostly giving me love, just love, like in the beginning, because this is what I needed and what every one of us needs to embrace ourselves. The most difficult thing for me was to embrace myself, to accept myself as I am and who I am. And as long as I didn't accept that I had these problems, I was not able to work neither with a psychologist nor with Baba, the eternal psychologist. So I was taking love and tips from Baba. And what also is very important, I was working a lot with that in the very beginning, even before I went to a clinic, is to restore your intuition, your subtlety. I think I always had this intuition, even before Baba, but during my Brahman time, at some point, I lost it a little bit. And it had to be restored again. And yeah, I think I had to really trust my intuition. Once in my Brahmin life, Baba showed me something in a dream, and I didn't understand it completely, so I was not acting accurately on it. And after that, I was not trusting my intuition any longer. But then also through the help of Sister Denise, I learned to trust my intuition again. And if something was coming up, I have to do this, or I have to talk to this one or that one, I started again to trust. So it was through touchings and it was also in dreams and at Amrit Vela. So, and I really did what was coming up, and this was very important. Yeah, there were many internalized messages which I got as a child, but you can also say from external moral authorities, as Sister Dennis is saying. It can be your parents or your caretakers. It can be your educators, whoever is around you when you're very little, and they are telling you things or making you feel in a special way. And this, what they are telling you, is not the truth. It's not your eternal truth. And even on a physical level, it's not the truth. I was a very obedient child. I did everything my parents told me to please them. This is also one of the negative personality traits I developed. But I did many things just to be loved by my parents, which they couldn't because they were also traumatized. And but on this way, I got many of these negative messages. And later on in my life, I internalized them. So I told myself, even if I was not saying it with my mouth, but I was thinking it, that I am bad. So they told me, you're bad, you are this, you are bad. But I myself later on thought in this way about myself and felt very low of myself. But now that I accepted that it was that way, I could change it. And I was talking with Baba about it. And so I could transform, for example, you're bad into I'm Baba's child. I'm good as I am. And for example, if they say or said you're unworthy, I could say I'm Baba's heir. I'm worthy of receiving the inheritance of heaven from Baba. It's my birthright. I told all these things to me in the very beginning in my Brahmin childhood, but at that time now it's if I never thought in that way. It's if I had forgotten it. So I had to tell it to myself again. And Harsha, can we share the dialogue with the anger? Oh, thank you. So nice. I just want to show you, we just slide through it, how you can talk to yourself or to a part in yourself. For example, at Amrit Vela, this is what I did. For example, you have this message, you're bad, you're very bad. Or you got many other messages. And this is what I've drawn is this part in me. I call it just the anger. You can just slide through it. Next picture. But I had to take in Baba, and I had to listen to what Baba is telling me. Baba was telling me, you are a sweet child. And he wanted me to have a look at where the anger is coming from. And he was telling me that he loves me a lot. And he also wanted me to draw the anger. This is the next picture, or even one later. He was still telling me my specialities. This is what Baba did once in Madhuban also. Through an instrument, he was telling me all my specialties. Yeah, the next, I think, yeah, he's telling me that this is the truth, it's the eternal truth. And then I start to see it and to say to myself, I am good. And to accept that he is my true father, not my logic father or whoever told me these other things. Yeah, you can take the next one. Thank you. Yeah, he wanted to draw the anger. And when you write something down or when you draw it, it makes it very clear that this is not the truth. This is a falsehood. So I draw the anger. You can take the next one. And what was very important was to find out what does the anger need, because if negative emotions are coming up, there's always a need behind it. Yeah, you can take the next one. He said, I wanted to be loved, I want to be respected, and I want to be listened to. And this is what I did. I accepted him as he was, even if it was a very fearsome form or whatever. And I gave love to that part of myself, even if it seemed not to be good for me, but I thought there must be something which is good behind it. And then the anger was somehow liberated because he could drop everything, all the falsehood, and become free. You can take the next one. Yeah. And I also told the anger just to be himself, his true self, because this was not the true self. And actually, the anger loved to be pure and to be true. So, as Baba says, even the vices, they will serve you. I think this is something like that. They will transform and they will serve us later on. What I also did and what helped me a lot was rotating the cycle, to know that I am the highest, but I'm also the lowest, and I have to go through the whole cycle. And what I did was I was actually rotating the cycle at a very fast speed. I took the 5 forms and I assigned a virtue to each of the forms. So for the point of light in the soul world, it's peace. For the deity, it's happiness, bliss. And for the worship-worthy form, it's power. Because even the devotees, they take power and many other things from the non-living idols, images. For the Brahman, it's love. The love we get from Baba and the love we give to Baba. And for the angel, it's purity. So I first did it at a slower speed. So I was going into each of these forms and virtues so that I really could feel them. I could feel the peace. We will do a meditation later on. And the bliss, the power, the love, and the purity. And then later on, I was doing it a bit faster, and then faster and faster. So you see these points on the line of the cycle, these 5 golden points. And as you rotate it faster and faster, it's becoming one. It's becoming 1 point, and it's if you the 5 forms you can also assign certain colors to. I would do this now, but you know the colors of the rainbow. And if you mix all the colors of the rainbow, what do you get? It's white, actually. And this is the same here. If you rotate it very, very fast, you get just the color white and just a point. And I was imagining myself standing in the middle at the X of the cycle and just watching all these forms passing by until I was just the point in the middle. And I was also doing it whilst walking at the time when I was not feeling so well. You can do it wherever you are, and when sitting in meditation, when doing other things, karma yoga, and also when walking. And this helped me a lot. Shall we do a meditation now? Harsha, bye.
Sure. So it's a nice segue to gain that. Maybe should I take it to the previous slide so we can?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We have to do the meditation now. We end at 5. No, here it's 5. We end at
You still have another half an hour.
half an hour. Okay,
Yeah.
good. And we do it for 10 minutes. About that? Okay. So sit back and relax. Breathe in, breathe out. Continue to breathe in your own rhythm, in and out. And now imagine first being that point of light in the middle of the forehead. Very still, calm, silent. And then from there, go up to the soul world, our sweet home, Paramdam. And imagine yourself just being that point of light, Jyoti Bindu, very light. There's no weight at all. There are no threats. Everyone is in peace. I'm at peace and others are at peace in our eternal form of peace, like the seed. Everything is inside me, but there are no actions, no words, even no thoughts. It's just peaceful. Very close to Baba, the ocean of peace. And from that peace, I come down onto earth, the golden aged new world, pure. Everyone's pure. Nature is pure. Elements are pure. Everything is very light. We are full of all the virtues, interacting in harmony. We are givers, deities, devtas, just bestowing happiness. And we are in our true self. No negativity, only happiness. We are in complete bliss. Such a world we have never imagined before. When we are in all our qualities of the soul, we are just this bliss, giving happiness, receiving happiness. As we continue through the cycle, after half the cycle, the devotees start to build temples and make idols, images of the deities, of us. And because we have been living these qualities in a practical form, still the idols, the images give power and all the virtues to the devotee souls who come in front of them. They become connected with this space and they take power from it. Imagine yourself being such a bestower of power. We continue through the Copper Age, Iron Age, very close to the end of the cycle. Everything has gone into extremes. We have been looking for Baba for almost half the cycle, Baba found us. He found these diamonds in the dust and cleaned them up and made them belong to him. And this is us. Baba made me belong to him. And he said, "Sweet child, we met 5,000 years ago, and we will meet in every cycle. I'm your father, your mother, and I will teach you so that you can become again what you have been before." I'm so happy. You forgot, but I tell you the truth. He's telling me that I'm a soul, that I had been a deity in the Golden Age. And he's telling me how I can make efforts to become that again. This is the Brahman. It's love. It's the love of the Father, the love of the teacher, and the Sadguru. And then the fifth form, it's the angel. When I've resolved all the sins, karmic accounts of the second part of the cycle, I become that. It's the stage of being Kamatit. It's the final stage. And the final stage is also the stage which is eternal and the stage of the beginning. So the end and the beginning meet each other. The angel is completely pure. The soul is completely pure, ready to fly back to the home, to the soul world. And now we go into these forms and qualities again, and also feel these qualities. Point of light in the soul world, eternal. Just peace. The deity in the new gold-natured world, full of bliss and happiness. Go into that state, just happiness, bliss. And then the worship-worthy form, bestowing power onto the devotee souls. Feel your power, feel your Shakti form, this inner power. And then the Brahman. Baba has found him. He has found me. Through Brahma, he made me belong to him. This is his love for me. And I have this love for Baba, who's giving me all the knowledge and teaching me yoga. And then the fifth form, the angel, completely pure, completely purified in all his eternal and original qualities. The end meets the beginning. Now we go through it a bit faster. Peace, happiness, bliss, power, inner power, love, and purity. And now imagine yourself standing in the middle at the X and just seeing and feeling all of these forms flying around you. Peace, bliss, power, love, purity. Rotate the cycle yourself at a faster and faster speed. You are in the middle of the drama. You are detached from it. You are safe. It's like being in the middle of the storm's eye. It's a very safe place. Even if many different scenes are around you, you are safe. Rotate it at a very fast speed. All your experiences become invisible. The drama becomes a point. I'm a point. Baba is a point. And the drama is just a point. And feel the power through this rotating of the cycle. Now come back. You can stretch a little, breathe properly. Yeah, thank you. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Sister Christina, for taking us deeper and all the deeper insights. If anyone have questions or comments, I can leave it in the chat. Yeah. So there is one question, Sister Christina, about the book that you are referring to. You mentioned Dadi. Just stop that. So you mentioned the Prakash Mani's book, which helped you to fall back on for the positive thoughts and stuff. What was the name of the book? The Virtues of Soul. So this is something about Dadi Prakashman.
Yeah, it's called Dadi Prakashmani's Words of Nectar. It's I can send it. I have a photo of it and send it. I don't know who to send it to. I can send it via WhatsApp or email or whatever. It's a little booklet. I bought it in Madhuban, in Pandav Bhavan. And it's sharings of Dadi Prakashmani. It's always like a question and an answer. So there's a situation and she's giving an advice what you can do in this situation. And it's a spiritual advice, how you can work on yourself to handle the situation. Yeah.
Beautiful. If you can send a soft copy, we can distribute. Yeah.
Where shall I send it to?
You can send it to me in the WhatsApp and then I can.
Okay. Yes.
So there is a question: when one is a Brahmin and other is not a Brahmin, parenting styles are very different. If the child happens to be high energy, we encourage people with similar sanskaras and gets influenced with negative behavior easily. Any suggestion on how to help the spouse as well as the child?
Okay, I need to understand the question properly. So you are you
Should
have
I
a
repeat?
child, and the child, what did that one say? It has very high energy.
So I'll repeat the question. Yeah.
I need to understand what is meant with high energy. Is it that the child needs a lot of movement to move a lot, or is it that it's spiritual high energy? I need to understand properly.
If the person is still on, they can unmute themselves and then ask the question. Physically, she says physically active.
Okay.
Hyper energy.
Yeah. I've been working with children at school who are hyperactive, and it's on one side they need a lot of physical movement. So to sit still is not easy for them. It's not possible. So they are at your home, so involve them in everything which has to be done, and also let them play and let them be outside. I think this is very important, but also let them experience times when they can relax, when they can slow down. You can read out of a book to them. You can have these fantasy journeys. There's a very good book out of the series Relax Kids. It's written by a sister from South America, and there are two different ones I used at school, and the children, they liked them very much. One is about, I need the title, but I can also send it to you, and you can forward it if this is possible.
Sure. And
these are very nice stories, and the kids, they could always relax very, very nicely, and they liked the stories as well.
I think all of these books should be available on the online bookstore, on our brahmakumaris.org site, on our website bookstore.
I can send the title to you. It's out of the series Relax Kids.
Relax Kids. Beautiful. Thank you. So if anyone have any questions or comments, feel free to unmute yourself and then share. So I definitely want to acknowledge the beautiful presentations Sister Christina has taken, and something that is coming from a deeper space. And I definitely want to reiterate some of the points which she has called out in her slides, that if needed, if you feel you need to take the psychologist help, feel free to take so, but definitely keep Baba along with your journey. And sometimes we cannot do all by ourselves, but definitely family is always there. Take the support of the family, not only Laukik, but Alaukik and Paralaukik family. Dadis are there. They're always going to help us through these tough times. So, and I definitely appreciate Christina Ben, how you took not just intellectually processing, using the power of intuition, listening to what your heart is saying and then what it is pulling towards, and sorting the emotions. That emotional quotient is very much important, especially sorting out the depression and stuff. And I like how you took us through the meditation. Start slowly and slowly pick up the pace. Sometimes when we have this tough days where we don't even feel like coming out of the bed, it is okay to crawl out of the bed. You don't have to jump off the bed. Just crawl out. Just sit there in the bed. It will take you more deeper. Just crawl out, walk, stand up, move around. Same thing with our meditation. Yeah, thank you.
May I give some practical tips at the end also?
Definitely.
If you have depression, because I had a lot of headache in the beginning, lots of headache every day, and you don't want to take painkillers all the time because it's not so good for your body, and you don't want to be addictive to something, if what you can take is water with lemon. I got this advice from Sister Denise, and it helps really. And herbal tea is also good, but water with lemon, cold or warm water, is very, very helpful. And to move the body is very helpful. You can go for a walk, but you can also do something inside your home, or you can just dance or whatever you want to do. And art and music helped me a lot. I was doing my art and I was also playing music, and this was also very healing. So I also got some support from Sister Kyoko. I think many of you know her from the San Francisco Center, and during these times I started also to play the harp, and this is very, very healing for yourself also.
Oh, that's beautiful. So now we have 2 musicians in the family. Thank you. So anyone wants to share anything before we wrap up? Sister Kim, you want to share any words?
Yeah, I want to share that I just so appreciate your sharing this evening. I think I personally just hear Sister Denise's wisdom behind there, and I resonate with that. And I think that's so important that we get that message, that we are loved exactly as we are. And if people treat us badly, we don't internalize that, and we have thoughts that counteract that, and know that we are okay and we're being the truth. And that's important in the Brahmin life, because sometimes we don't always get treated like we need to be treated. And that brings out the past hurts. So thank you so much for sharing that Baba's love is going to take care of us. And Sister Denise offers solutions to that, and she's real about that kind of stuff. And I think she's a real gift to the Brahmin family for us Brahmins. Thank you very much.
Yes, she is. Yeah. Also use your intuition for finding the right psychologist or psychotherapist, because not everyone is good for you. You have to resonate with that one. And yeah, I also had to go through this process, and at the end I knew exactly where I have to go to, and this is very helpful also.
Definitely, there is one more comment on the chat. Sister or the brother is telling, it takes a lot of courage to share your journey to so many people and helping them out. Thank you for your time, and you're a powerful soul. Yeah, thank you.
You also. You too.
Thank you. And especially, I definitely want to acknowledge the courage that you have exercised to step up and then share. It is not always easy to share something deeper hurt, because especially when we go to that area, it comes alive, and it is a sign that you're definitely are not afraid of going into that space, because you're in the process of healing. Very beautiful. Thank you very much. And as you mentioned in the beginning, that just because we have a childhood memory, childhood traumas, once you come to BKs, everything will be all flying angels or nothing like that, right? So you will be tested. You have to sort out the traumas, irrespective of you're in the family or in Brahmin family or out of family. You have to take steps to sort it out. The sanskaras will show up. You have to work through them. Yeah, thank you very much for calling that out. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Sister Christina, for this beautiful sharing. And definitely it might have helped a lot of us, and definitely it helped me personally. Yeah, thank you very much. and have a beautiful rest of the evening. Om Shanti.
Shanti.